point, even before Isa alayhi salam, there were multiple Jewish sects with different beliefs and different books that they viewed as authoritative. Now, if we look at the Jews of today, okay, most of them come from the lineage, if you like, of the Pharisees. Now, the Pharisees are the ones that viewed the Old Testament as authoritative. Okay, so all the Jews today generally believe the Old Testament is authoritative. They believe this is, you know, revelation in their terms. Now, there were other sects. And in fact, some of these sects are mentioned in the New Testament, like the Sadducees. You know, there were many different Jewish sects. Okay, now the Pharisees in particular, their prophets end before Zechariah. This is a very interesting point. Because today's Jews, they don't accept Zechariah. Okay, they don't accept, and I'm talking about the Zechariah, which the Quran is mentioning. You know, you have Zechariah, Yahya, and Isa alayhi salam. They don't accept any of these prophets. Of course, these were 3 prophets living in the same time. You know. But we know that Zechariah, Yahya, and Isa alayhi salam had Jews who were following them. But the Pharisees, their religion, if you like, of prophets ends before that. So we know that there were multiple Jewish sects, you know, with different beliefs. There were some Jews at the time of Zechariah who accepted Zechariah, you know, as a prophet. Same with Yahya, alayhi salam, and Isa alayhi salam. And at the same time, there were Jews who rejected these prophets and and ultimately killed them. Yahya was killed, Zechariah was killed. They tried to kill Isa, you know. So these Jews, there was multiple Jewish tribes. Now, when we come to Isa alayhi salam, same thing. You know, at the early beginnings of Isa, of course, they were Muslims. When we say Muslims, we mean the ones who were truly following the message of Jesus. You know. And from that, you had many different early sects. And there's many secular non-Muslim writings about this, like Bart Ehrman, you know, he's right there. Lost Christianity. You know, he's mentioned many of these early sects with different beliefs, different books that they regard as authoritative. We also have early writings of Christians before Islam, which predate Islam. You know, like we mentioned before, the Epiphanes of Salamis, he wrote about all these Jewish and Christian sects. Eusebius, you know, other early Christian scholars, people who identify as Christian. You know, the point is, which people really need to understand, you know, it's a really important basis to the argument, that there were many different Jewish and Christian sects with different beliefs and books that they regarded as authoritative. Not all Jews accepted the Old Testament as revelation. Not all Christians accepted the New Testament as revelation. I mean, Eusebius even points out, he speaks of a group that believed in a book from God to Jesus. You know, this is an early writing. So there were many of these, and as I said, you know, they've spoken about this. So this is well known. Now, you also have to look at the history of the context of everything. You know, you had the Roman Empire, which seen the advent of Catholicism, you know, and the establishment and of the Bible itself. You know, the canon, establishing the canon of Scripture, or what they're going to refer to as authoritative. This was also much later. It wasn't so, you know, because the books are later than Isa alayhi salam. You know, so you have this whole thing, and then you have the subhanAllah, the persecution of these different sects who actually fled out of the Roman Empire. Some of them to Arabia, some of them to Persia, you know, some of them to Europe. You know, they fled, you know, away from this. You know, so, but one thing we do know is that there were Jews and Christians in Medina and Mecca, okay, or around Arabia, at the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Now, to presume that these Jews and Christians are either to presume that these Jews and Christians are either Catholics or Trinitarians or Pharisees, we have to have a basis for that.
Yeah.
Because because when James is, and all missionaries, whenever they're speaking about, the Torah with them, the one in Medina, or the books in Medina, or the Christians and the Jews in Medina, they're just presuming. They have this idea of a two-sect.
Yeah.
We call them the victorious sects.
Yeah.
The Pharisees and the Trinitarians, Catholics, if you like.
Yeah.
Because everything comes from from the lineage of Catholics. So these are the two sects which have ruled. The victorious sects.
And this is a really simple